Write each ratio in simplest form. 48 to 12 becomes Josiah. 4 to 1. 36 over 9, Willie. 75 to 15 becomes what? Brandon. 5 to 1. 42 over 7 becomes Willie. 6 to 1. 125 over 5 becomes what? Sarah. 25 to 1. And 52 to 4 becomes, Austin, 13 to 1. Now we're going to save that. We're going to come back to that. Unit rates. Definition of a rate on page 273 is a ratio that compares two quantities. Compares two quantities measured in different units. Okay, that's what a rate tells us. Now, the rate for 1 unit of a particular quantity. It's called a unit rate. Okay? And that's what we're going to be finding out today. We set these rates up as ratios, but we set them up primarily in fraction form. For example, if I were to say, like the example says, 150 heartbeats. It's pretty slow to be dead. 150 heartbeats in 2 minutes. What you have there is a rate. We have two quantities, 150 and 2, with two different measurements. The top measures heartbeats. The bottom measures minutes. Those are different. What I need to find is the unit rate. I don't care how many heartbeats in 2 minutes. I need to know how many heartbeats in 1 minute. That is the unit rate. What I find on top will be the unit rate. Now, there's plenty of ways to look at this. You could set it up as a proportion, and you can say, okay, they get from 2 to 1, I had to divide by 2. Or this right here, 150 over 2 is a division problem. You're still dividing by 2. What is 150 divided by 2? Willie? 75. Okay? So I found it, but this comes with a label. My answer would be 75 heartbeats per minute. There's my unit rates. Unit 1. How many heartbeats in 1 minute? 75 heartbeats per minute. Yes, yes, yes. You need the label, okay? Everyone, you need the label. If you don't label, it will be wrong. Do you need to write that down? Do I need to write that down up here? If you don't label, it will be wrong. If you don't label, it will be wrong. 66 pages read in 2 hours. There's my rate. Rate is how fast something goes. That's the speed, the rates. So I'm going to set this up. I'm going to put 66 pages on top. I'm going to put 2 hours on the bottom. Now again, I don't care how many pages someone reads in 2 hours. If I want to find the rate, I want to know how many pages they read in 1 hour. Josiah? 33 pages per hour. Very good. Josiah, do you need the pages per hour? Yes. Yes. Good. See? See, listening. Works already. I know, Maddie. Rolling your eyes. 237. 3 pounds of grapes. You try. 237. 3 pounds. I need to do what operation? Division. What's going to be divided? 237 divided by 3. Like we said, this essentially is a division problem. The bottom number always goes on the outside. When I divide with the decimal, the first thing I do is move the decimal up if that's a whole number. Does 3 go into 2? It does not. It goes in and 9. How do I label this? How do I label it? Yes. 79 cents per pound. Don't use this. Nobody uses that anymore. Do you need the per pound? Take a look at page 275 and make sure that we've got this down, this part down. Page 275 at the top, numbers 1 through 5 are all questions like we just answered. As you look at 1 through 5, are there any there that look like you would need help with or particularly challenging that you'd like to try together as you look at 1 through 5? Sarah. 5. You got it. Try number 5. Everybody. Hopefully our setup looks something like this. $29.85 for 3 presents. We don't care how much 3 presents cost. We want to know how much for 1. And how am I going to do that, Sarah? $29.85. All divided by 3. When there's a decimal, I make sure that I bring that up. 3 into 29, how many times? The 28 and 15. So our final answer, $9.95. Josiah? Per present. Okay, was it as hard or not as hard as you thought it was going to be? Awesome. Now, the next section, using unit rates. 274, the first blue example, 2 example, it says using a unit rate. Now, it gives us the unit rate. It gives us the measurement with the 1. A car travels 25 miles on 1 gallon of gas. That's really good. How far can the car travel on 8 gallons of gas? So here's what we're going to do. You're going to set up the initial unit rate, 25 miles per gallon. And then it asks us a question. We either want to know miles or gallons. What information do they give us for the second part of the question? Do they give us miles or do they give us gallons? Willie, how many gallons? 8. So where do you suppose I'm going to put gallons? If I put gallons on the bottom over here, let's put the 8 over here. Okay? Now we use a little common sense once it's set up, and we say, okay, if it goes 25 on 1, how did I get from 1 to 8? You multiply by 8. Multiply the 25 times 8, and you get 200 what? Miles. So your answer, please don't answer it as miles per gallon. It's not miles per gallon. Miles per gallon is the rate. The question was, how far? So if you said your relatives lived in Chicago and someone asked you about how far away that is, you'd say, oh, about 100 miles per gallon. Does that make sense? No, you'd say about 100 miles. So if they ask how many miles, how far, use the rate to find the distance. Okay? Number 6. No, let's do 2A, sorry. You earn $5.25 in 1 hour. That's the rate, unit rate. How much do you earn in 5 hours? Where am I going to put 5 hours? Top or bottom? Cal. Okay. To get from 1 to 5, multiply by 5. Multiply 525. 525 times 5 was what? 2625. So if that's the answer to my question, that's what I'm circling. That's my answer, 2625. Because the question was, how much do you earn in 5 hours? Okay? Everyone that I looked at resisted the temptation of putting dollars per hour. Okay? It's just dollars. You're just answering the question. Okay? B, you type 25 words in 1 minute. How many words can you type in 10 minutes? Give it a shot. How am I going to set it up? Who helps me set it up? Brandon. 200? 25 what? And what at the bottom? Good. There's my unit rate. And then they want to know what? So they give us 10 minutes. Good. So minutes on the bottom with the other minute. Times 10. Brandon, 25 times 10. 250 what? 250 words. Not words per... I already know words per minute. It's right there. You don't go from 25 words per minute to all of a sudden 250 words per minute. Okay? So it's just words. Just so we're straight with that. Okay? Any question on how to set those up? Rates compare two different quantities. Words are different than minutes. Okay? We'll set them up in that ratio form that puts them into fraction form. Wherever you decide to put one, you put the other in the other place. If you're comparing, just like we've been doing here. Okay? They wanted to know minutes. Put it on the bottom with minutes, okay? Really nothing to it. On a side note, if you look at 275, numbers 10 through 13, comparison shopping, find each unit price, then determine which is the better buy. So number 10 sells crackers, 16 ounces for $2.39 or 20 ounces for $3.19. What they want you to find out is how much you're paying per ounce. But what is the general knowledge that most of you should already know when it comes to shopping? Sarah. Yes, there's tax. But they would both get taxed the same way. So even if you had a tax on, wouldn't affect how much the unit price is. What is it that you know? Look at all of them. Bagels, 3 for $2.85 or 5 for $4. 48 ounces for $2.07 or 32 ounces for $1.64. Apples, 3 pounds for $1.89, 1 pound for $79. Always a better buy, not always, 99% of the time. Really. Buy in bulk. Buy bigger. Buy bigger. Think of what you pay for one soda. Even a can of soda at the gas station. What, maybe $1? No one buys cans anymore. Even if you pay 50 cents. Even if you pay 50 cents, which is probably pretty good. That's saying if you bought 12 of them, how much would a 12-pack of soda cost? $6. Do you pay $6 for a 12-pack of soda at the grocery store? No. $4 maybe. So you get a better deal if you buy in bulk as opposed to buying in smaller quantities. Okay? You won't have any on your worksheet that ask you that, I don't think. They'll just want to know the unit price. Okay? Which brings us to our worksheet. Worksheet 6-2, take that out. Should be in the back of 6-1. Now this is the part where I'll tell you kind of maybe little information about the sheet so you avoid making mistakes in bulk. 1 through 6 wants the unit rates. So 1 through 6, you're going to be using that word per. So when we look at number 1 together, 44 breaths in 2 minutes, how are we going to set that up? Number 1. How are we going to set up number 1? Kishana? How about 44 breaths on top divided by 2 minutes? What I need to know is how many per minute. Do we have an answer? So we can get an answer in there for number 1. Josiah? Good. So 22 breaths per minute. Can you abbreviate? Some things you can abbreviate. Minute you can use MIN because it's a pretty common abbreviation. Don't abbreviate breaths, which does not have a necessary common abbreviation. B per M. Well, what are you talking about? Okay, so take the little extra time, write the couple extra letters you need to write. It's not a big deal. Any questions on 1 through 6? Yes. Right. There's 72 players, 9 teams. How about 3? 60 miles, 2 hours. How about 4? 15 pages, 30 minutes. Okay. Can be done. We did it before. Okay. So yes. Really. Okay, here, let me bring it back. Let me bring it back. Where is it? Where is it? There! It doesn't make sense to you because the number on the top is bigger or smaller than the number on the bottom, right? Here, Was the number on top smaller than the one on the bottom? 230 is 2.37 smaller than 3? Yeah. So, what do we do? What do we use? It can be done. Trust me. It can be done. 7 through 12. Unit rate, then find an equal ratio. "12 inches in 1 foot" for number 7. They ask number of inches in 6 feet. Where do I put the 6 feet, top or bottom? Therefore, from 1 to 6, I had to multiply by 6. Multiply 12 times 6. 72 what? And that is your answer. Okay? So there it is, number 7, on the board, set up and circled with what you need. So if any of you come in tomorrow and say, "Oh, I thought it was inches per foot." No, it's right there. Follow the model and do the rest just like we did there and just like we spent the last handful of problems on. Yes? Which one? We're past that. $3 over 4. You divide. Use a decimal. You'll be fine. Okay? Now, 13 through 18. Find each unit price. 13. $5 for 10 pounds. We need to find out how much per pound. So if you pay $5 for 10 pounds, you're going to divide by 10, which is the same as what you have here, by the way. 5 divided by 10 equals what? Right? 0.5, speaking in terms of money, is what? So your unit price is 50 cents per pound. Okay? $14? Anything for 14? You want a unit price. A little different. You can tell me how much I'm paying per ounce. 12 divided by what? Is 40 going to 12? Is it going to 120? 3. What is that in terms of dollars and cents? So your answer, 30 cents. Notice a pattern with numbers 13 through 18. Which value has been going on top? Which value has been going on top? The money. The price. So make sure to put that on top. Okay? So 1 through 18, worksheet 6-2.